I got a long gray mouth, she won't let me ride. I got a long gray mouth, she won't let me ride. She makes me brush it in the morning, I put it to bed every night.
Fleetwood Mac were a British band with American members, certainly at some points, and a worse than average turnover of members. And it's really hard to do their turbulent history justice in about a minute, which is what I budget for these introductions. They were formed as a blues band by several former members and current members at the time of John Mayall's Blues Breakers, who were a British band quite uh, fundamental to the British blues explosion. And they were put together by Peter Green. So, ironically, not one of the two whose names contribute to the band name, who are Mick Fleetwood and John McVie. This was 1967. After 3 years, so in 1970, there were some changes which added Christine Perfect, who became quite soon Christine McVie. She got together with John McVie. They started to be more pop rock. Around this time, Peter Green left twice, I think. At some point during this next few years, they took a break. Another version with which is generally considered now a fake version, toured under the name The New Fleetwood Mac. By 1975, they were back doing stuff, and they were joined by Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. And at that point, they became what a lot of people would consider their classic lineup. So some of their best success in that kind of 1975 onwards coincided with some romantic breakups and shake-ups within the band. Very turbulent internally. They became known for their breakup songs. Given what was going on, I'm really surprised they actually managed to continue to play together and sing together. They did have huge success. There was huge confusion, as I say, in the band. They're probably now at an end, given that Christine McVie died in 2023. But with the history of Fleetwood Mac, never say never. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the first album released by Fleetwood Mac. I believe some of these recordings were recordings that were done before they even were formed as a band officially. This was released as under the name Fleetwood Mac, but is these days generally referred to as Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, because there was a 1975 album released by Fleetwood Mac, also called Fleetwood Mac, which causes confusion. I do have a copy of this album, but I wouldn't say it's one that is I have listened to particularly often, so I'm not hugely familiar with it. And I would describe this quite confidently as an album of blues. So this was a part of the British blues explosion, which featured people like the Yardbirds and the Blues Breakers and other people like that. There's been some to and fro between members of these bands. This album reviewed particularly well amongst critics. Within that description, I would describe it as being mostly blues of a kind of B.B. King style. Certainly the guitar sound often, or the guitar style is often feels quite B.B. King-like. But there are at least one more track that's kind of more Delta blues style. There is one track towards the end which is just acoustic guitar and singing in a very much in a Delta blues style. The band are pretty good. They're on it. It's definitely convincing as blues, but I would say it's not got that total. I haven't got a word to describe it. The best I've got is that really good blues has got. It just kind of goes in through your ears and then goes down your spine and makes that connection there. And this doesn't quite do that. The musically and lyrically, it's very archetypal. You listen to this and this is blues. And it definitely sounds like blues. It sounds, you could probably for each song say, "Oh, this sounds like another song of a particular style." There's occasional kind of steps into maybe more rock and roll, but definitely the overall feel is blues. So the lead vocals apparently are shared between Peter Green and the other guitarist who was in the band at the time, Jeremy Spencer. Now, I wouldn't be able to tell which was which out of the two. And in fact, when I read this, I hadn't realised that there were two different people singing. The biggest negative I've got for the album is the singing, actually, and it's not so much the singing itself, which is fine, but it's just trying a little bit too hard to be singing in the style of Black American blues players. And there's, I think it's Spencer. I apologize if I got that wrong. There's one of them at least that's got a little bit too much of the in between bits and kind of the ornamentation that they've done, and it's weird because they're singing in an American blues style, but there's quite a lot of bits of kind of almost like studio outtakes or bits of chat from the ends or before tracks, and they're obviously in a Southern English accent, which is it kind of gives this disconnect, and I feel like they're trying a little bit too hard. And they should just own who they are and recognise that blues can be done by Brits. And, they were part of the British blues explosion, which definitely showed that blues could be done by Brits. Although I think it was B.B. King, it was certainly one of the American bluesmen who said, these British bands, they want to play the blues real bad, and that's exactly how they play it, which is great. I don't think it's justified, but I think it's a great comment. Songs here are a mixture of covers and originals. It's definitely classic blues fare. At times, it's uncomfortably misogynistic. Um, the track "Long Grey Mare" is, to me, pretty obviously a metaphor, and quite sort of clearly so. But it's a nice track. In some ways, there's some nice tracks among here. Definitely, it's okay. It's blues. I do love blues. I wouldn't say it's the best blues that I've heard. If I thought I want to hear an album from the British Blues Explosion or British blues, there'd be a lot of other people that I'd go to first before I came to this. So it's all right. I kind of got a mild liking for it. There's a couple of issues, I think. So, what do you think of this album? Please do tell me by leaving a comment. And that's it from me for now.
It was a cold black night.